Yo, Tony Ricca here. And oh, yeah, I'm back, baby. Oh, yeah, independent wrestling circuit and cameos. Oh, yeah, thanks for hitting me up. Oh, yeah, and questions. Oh, yeah, I have so many. Oh, answers. Oh, and let me tell you something. Oh, yo, keep the questions coming because I love it. Oh, yeah, yo. All right, I'm gonna calm down. But anyway, all right, yeah. So the first question, all right. So yeah, I love it. Thanks, yo. This is great. All right, so I love it. Yeah, like I said, a lot of stories there. All right, so all right. Who was the other half of the Hamilton Hitmen? Okay, so all right. So his name is Leo Battetti, and actually a local. And he just was put together with me in that one match because he really wanted to, actually, I think he wanted to, from what I understand, work with someone else at the time, but then he just actually couldn't commit to doing it anymore. So he only worked that one match, and then, he wound up, he actually just, kind of going into the family, just that direction. And just doing that, and that's where kind of the Hamilton Hitman. I became just a Hamilton Hitman, and then I was just thrown in shows as that. And so I didn't have him anymore. He didn't wrestle anymore. He did wrestle later on, and actually that's when I wound up doing I had my promotion, and I talked to him, and then the person he actually wanted to tag with at the time, that he never got that chance. I put them together, and that was great. But I just wanted to let you know, so Leo Battetti was the other half of the Hamilton Hitmen, and again, then I was the Hamilton Hitman because he didn't do it anymore. So to answer your question there, that's how that kind of just was all put together, and that's how it just played out. So that's that, and thanks for that question right there. So now the next question. Oh yeah. So okay. So all right. Did I ever have any matches in WCW? So yes, I did, and it was only a couple. Actually, they weren't televised because actually, really, I was just kind of hitting different promotions, doing different things. I actually had the Pharaoh, I was working, putting that out there, created that, put that out there, and, I knew and, had found out that WWF wanted the Pharaoh. And so from pretty much from there, I kind of just, I knew what I needed to do and what I was told from even the other promotions, hey, this is kind of the real deal here. So, being contracted with them before, and, you're talking about like, just a big, company like that. Once I got into that, and, the funny thing is that, even before all this, I didn't even think I was going to get into wrestling. I wasn't even looking at that, but it just happened to be because of, I ran into a friend that was in wrestling, and we were talking, and they wanted to know, if I was tough enough, and that's a story right there that we'll get into. And he did well for himself at the time. But anyway, just getting back to that, a couple of matches, but I didn't stay. There weren't big matches at all. But yes, working for them. But kind of the direction was WWF. Really nothing else. And then just doing kind of hitting the circuit. Until that part, and that's a whole story in itself. The Pharaoh that's a big story right there, because that thing catapulted everything. But anyway, so thanks again for that question. And then the other one, I love this too, because pretty much, do I have any funny or interesting stories? With Jimmy Snuka, and how nice of a guy was he? So Snukin, and really, I'll tell you something like this. So I remember one time in WWF, walked in the arena, And I remember the Nasty Boys were there. It was pretty funny, you know. All the guys, like, they were all around, but different things. So we were kind of like in the arena before, you know, as they were setting things up, and Snuka was there. You know, he was kind of like, he was all over the place, really. And he, what was it? I forget how it was with it was one of the Nasty Boys. I brought my girlfriend at the time with me, who's my wife now. But anyway, and they were like looking at her. I was like, all right, we got to get out of here. But anyway, but I know he made a gesture, you know, regarding Snuka. But you know, again, there's not much of a story with that there. It comes later, like after that night that we wrestled, that whole day. It was very long, and we went to go eat. So I mean, my girlfriend at the time, like I said, went to go eat. There was nothing. I mean, we hardly could. There was nothing we could find that was open. We did find like a Chinese restaurant, and we're like, oh, it doesn't matter. I don't care. You know, I'm hungry. We have to eat. So so we went in there. You see all these guys that were like, you know, half of them were, you know, in the arena, like, you know, the guys that worked on the card, and, you know, you're talking really top names there. And I can tell you this, Snuka was there, and then we were like all at the same table we were eating, because everybody was at different tables. That was the only place that was open. And it was just funny because, you know, we were just talking, you know, we were kind of, here, give me this dish, or give me that. You know, we were just, you know, whatever it was just like we were just, you know, sharing stuff and had some good times. But you know, it's kind of a story more than something fun. But you know, I'll tell you something funny with him too, and that comes. This is some years later. Actually, when I was promoting, so not as a wrestler, but as a promoter, and I had him. I had him lined up setting up to wrestle Bundy, and that's another story too. So you know, he was a piece of work. I'll tell you, he was a really piece of work, a good guy. But anyway, so Snuka, it was in October. It was set for that, and we had a few thousand, actually quite a few thousand people out there. It was an outside show. So Snuka called me in, you know, into the area he was at, and he's like, Tony, oh, hey, Tony, oh, hey, you know, flies don't like it in the cold. And so, you know, I'm looking around like, you know, well, we got to do a show, right? We have a show to do. And so he's like, you know, he's looking at me, and, you know, and he was inside and it was warm, okay? But anyway, where he was at, you know, the match was outside anyway, but, you know, the show was going on, and I was like, okay. I said, well, you know, not for anything, but I don't think flies don't have a problem with anything that's green. so he kind of laughed, and so, you know, obviously the show went on. But he was letting me know, hey, you know, it was a little chilly for him. But he got this show, and then, of course, in the background, I hear Bundy, Ricca! You know, I was like, oh, all right, I have to deal with him. But anyway, but it was funny because, you know, that's a story in itself, like I said. But anyway, I'm just having fun with, you know, just thinking about some of these things. And really, you know, there's even more with Snuka, but, you know, because he actually wound up, it was like 15 minutes from where you know, where I'm at, you know, and so he would go to this bar and all that stuff, and I knew, you know, there were friends that, you know, would go there knowing that he was there, and, you know, and he had so, you know, different things. There were different stories with him, so there's a lot more to go with that, but you know, I know I'm limited, I'm limited to kind of just put too much out, I guess, for you on here. But I'll kind of shorten it up right here. But, you know, how nice of a guy was he? He really was a nice guy. Listen, you know, he would do anything to help, you know, all that stuff, anything, whatever it was. But it's kind of like, you know, if you needed somebody, he was there. So, you know, he would help you out. So really good guy right there. But thanks for hitting me up, guys. Yo, let me tell you something. Yo. Again, hit me up anytime at Tony Ricca WWE, you know, any platform and on Cameo. And, yo, I'm going to give you the views. Are you ready? Oh, yeah. Yo.